What is up, Jefferson? We're working on the paraphrasing assignment for the final project of the semester, our fairy tale unit. I'm going to go with the paper, where I compare the original story to its movie remake, and I have done the great Puss in Boots. Here's my first source. The popular story we know as Puss in Boots originated as a fable written by Giovanni Straparola in his Facetious Nights. The fable recounts the plight of three poor boys whose mother has only three possessions of value: a kneading trough, a pastry board, and a cat. I don't even know what that means, but it doesn't matter. Knowing that she is soon to die, she gives away her stuff to her sons. Her kneading trough she gives to her oldest son, Dusolino, the pastry board to the middle son, Tesifone, and the cat to the youngest son, Costantino Fortunato. Jeez, what a name. From his name, we can probably guess that his life will end happily. Fortunato means he's rich, right? But the tale continues with the cat disguised as a fairy feeling sorry for the kid that he was given to by mom, right? And promising to help him. Costantino, do not be cast down, for I will provide for your well-being and sustenance, and for my own as well. So I'm going to feed you, I'm going to keep you alive. The wily or smart cat manages to kill a rabbit, is what this means, takes it to the king as a gift from the guy he was given to. The king is pleased and asks the cat to stay to dine, and the loyal cat takes food home to Costantino, where his brothers become jealous of his good fortune. So the cat continues this ritual offering, bringing the king game or food each day, until one day he comes up with a plan. He asks Costantino to go to a nearby river, strip off his clothes, and get in. Costantino does as the cat asks. When he's in the river, the cat starts yelling that his master is drowning. The sly cat knew that the king would be passing close by and would hear the cries for help. The king came to the rescue and invited Costantino back to his palace. Thinking that Costantino was rich, the king decided that his daughter, Elisetta, should marry him. After they were married, Costantino worried that he had no house. The fairy cat managed to take care of that detail as well. Soon after the king died, Costantino was declared the new king of Bohemia and lived happily ever after with his wife and children. At the end of the original version, the fairy cat is not mentioned at all. There's a lot of information in this story. Let me tell you a secret that I think eludes most of us. You don't have to remember all of this stuff, nor do you have to talk about all of this stuff. If we have a 5-paragraph essay with 8 to 10 sentences in each paragraph, how can we rewrite this? Well, first of all, we need to get rid of a lot of detail. Can we simplify it, but still tell the same story? I'm going to do it by summarizing it. Let's figure out how that works. All right, now you'll hear the movie going in the background. I'm working on this in the studio as my students watch the film. But here's what I've got so far. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 sentences. The original story of Puss in Boots is an Italian folktale where a mother is dying and has 3 gifts to give her 3 sons. Her third son receives the cat, who has magical powers. The son is lost and alone without his mother, but the cat wants to find a way to help the boy to happiness. He knows that the king of their country is rich, so he starts catching wild game and giving the animals to the king as gifts. So that's 4 of my 8 sentences already. You know why it was so easy for me to paraphrase this? I am not even looking at the original. I read it once just to get the basic bare bones of what it meant, and then I wrote it back in my own words. Look at it, read it out loud 2 or 3 times so you get it, and then put it away and just start writing your own version without repeating those same words. Another thing is, I read the paper so I could understand it and say it in my own words. A lot of people read it just so that we can come up with 8 sentences. But remember, you have to have a goal in mind. What is your goal? To understand this and to tell it in your own words, not to come up with 8 sentences. Think of yourself as a storyteller, not a mathematician where you have to come up with a bunch of sentences that equal up to 8. I'm going to look at the paragraph again. I'm going to come right back. I'm going to write my other 4 sentences. Okay, I think I want to wrap up this paragraph by talking about how smart Puss in Boots is, because you want him to seem like really super duper intelligent, right? So let's do that. This is nowhere in the original paragraph, but I want to play it up, and it fits with what we know about Puss in Boots. So here we go. Finally, Puss in Boots sees that it would be easier if he could find someone to take care of the boy instead of him doing the work. Instead of the cat doing all the work. So he creates a plan for the king to adopt the boy. He asks him, now let's deal with pronouns so we know who's talking. Puss asks him to wade into the river. Then tells the king that the boy is drowning. The king, with his kind heart, saves the boy from what he thinks is certain death, takes him into his family. Let's add another sentence. Certain death, and takes him into his family. In the end, the boy marries one of the king's daughters, becomes a prince, and has everything he needs for the rest of his life. How many sentences do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's lots of pronouns. We're talking about Puss in Boots, we're talking about the king, and we're talking about the son. I want to add the son's name in a couple of places so we know who we're talking about. What was that kid's name again? Costantino. Let's add that in a couple of places just so that we know instead of he, when he could be like 3 people. Her third son, Costantino, receives the cat. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that works. Okay, let's add one more rule. In an 8-sentence paragraph, I don't think we should say anyone's name more than 3 times. Yeah, this works because we have Costantino, 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 and then we have Puss in Boots, and then Puss in Boots. But I like this paragraph. It shows how smart the cat is. It shows that he has some kind of magical powers that make him wise, like he's a fairy or a wizard or something like that. And it tells the original story where we see in the movie as well, what does Puss in Boots want? He wants people to be happy. He's tricky, but he's a good guy. So I have taken this big, huge paragraph and I've really shortened it. See if you can boil it down and summarize it. If you can do 8 sentences with that, you're really doing it right. I like this. So this is how I would paraphrase that big, huge thing. That's all I got. Thanks. Bye-bye.